US energy firms help meet Pakistan's growing energy demand. If these two countries want to work together in this particular field, so what is the way forward?
Well, look, I think there's sort of three big themes, right? One is that energy is one of the single most important inputs into thousands of different businesses. So if you're an entrepreneur and you want to run a mine, one of your biggest costs is the energy that it costs to run the mine, right? If you run a trucking company out of Islamabad, one of your biggest operating costs is the fuel for your trucks, right? If you're running a company running data centers, the number one cost of a new data center is the energy supply. And so having consistent energy and having low cost energy is one of the things that produces economies that run very efficiently and become very productive and create a lot of prosperity. So energy is important, not simply as an industry on its own, but because it's an input industry that makes every other industry more profitable when it's managed well. And so that's sort of number one. Number two, no country is sufficient in itself, right? Pakistan doesn't have everything it needs. It has to trade with other countries that have optimal amounts of the things that it wants. And so to create the right trading relationships on the right terms and the right trust with the right trusted partners, and you want to have more than one so they compete with each other to keep for security, is one of the things that helps create a very prosperous, dynamic society. So every nation has to be confident enough to start to forge good relationships with multiple neighbors. And Pakistan's got a lot of tricky neighbors, right?
Indeed.
It's always been that way. And this is one of the things that make Pakistanis very good business people.
So you meant to say that you cannot change your neighbors, but you can change your policies.
Yeah, and you can also, you've got to do what's best for Pakistan, always. And what's best for Pakistan sometimes isn't always having homemade version of something. Sometimes the best thing for Pakistan is have a great trading relationship with somebody that makes something really effective. You know, I grew up in Canada, and you know, I would rather buy a BMW than whatever Canada wants to make for a car, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So nationalism is more important in this.
Well, you want to balance. You want to do everything you do for the sake of yourself and your family, and your community and your country. But sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself, your family, your community, your country is trade with somebody else that's better at something than you are.
Yeah.
And so having a positive idea of why you want to create the right relationship with foreign companies to come in and be prosperous inside your country. Because it's one thing to buy something from a foreign company. It's another thing to create the economic conditions that make that foreign company want to hire your people, train your people, and produce those things locally. And that's what foreign direct investment is all about.
If may I ask you that, what options available in renewable energy between the US and Pakistan, like what options they have in renewable energy?
Well, look, I think renewable energy takes multiple different forms. You know, you have solar, biomass, wind, hydro, geothermal, and any particular form has some benefits and some costs. And so if you look at solar is beneficial where you have lots of daylight hours, and it's the cost of producing it is going lower, but it's intermittent. So it's not very good for baseload power or operations that can't have any interruptions. It's very similar with wind. So I think when you look at renewable energy, the most important question to ask is, what is the application? Number one. And once you understand the application, which one of the renewable sources is best suited to that application? And then once you've decided that, then you look at that particular renewable source. You say, which part of this is best built here in Pakistan? And which part of this would be best to contract in somebody to come in and build?
सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल दबाएं ताकि कोई खबर रह न जाए।